Hello, hello, hello. Today is Monday, July 14th, 2014, and it is about 8 o'clock in Atlanta. And I just got home today, but I wanted to do a podcast because I have been answering questions on my Ask FM. For those of you who have asked me questions, I have answered almost 500. I'm hoping to get to 500 questions answered by the end of the summer. Don't stop asking me questions. I eventually get to all of them within at least 2 to 3 weeks of you sending them to me. So it's ask.fm backslash my whole name, Myleik. This podcast is about why what someone quote unquote thinks of you doesn't matter. And I wanted to do this tonight because when I really thought about all of the questions that people ask me, a lot of them stem from what people will think if I don't take a job here or do this major, or if I'm not buying my mother a house, or if I want to go on vacation by myself, or if I want to get married or I don't want to get married. All these things, that I believe really stem from being overly concerned with the thoughts and opinions of others. I'm going to do my infamous 5 points. I'm going to share some of my personal experiences with you as always, and hope that, this seems like one of those harsh topics. And so I put on the side, yeah, I said it. I think that some people are shocked that I would say that. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be concerned about, uh, if someone's giving you constructive criticism, that's one thing. If someone's guiding you and helping you that you respect and you love, that's different. But, hanging your whole entire life on the opinions of strangers or the opinions of people who, don't really know about you and your struggle or don't know about the times. A lot of people are giving, I used to fuss with my mom all the time because I'm like, you're giving me dated opinions. Your opinions are not even up to par. Like, your opinions are not even up to date. So I'm not saying that I don't feel you, but I'm saying that they're a little bit dated, and you have to make sure that they understand that. And it's like, mom, this isn't 1952 or 62 or 72. It's 2014, and things have changed. And I always say, what was true yesterday may not be true today. You couldn't contact someone without writing them a letter a decade ago, or was it 2 decades ago? The internet, I think, is like 20 something years old. But I mean, let's be honest. I remember getting an email account, my first email account, about, I was 18 and I'm 35. So you do the math. I told you I'm horrible at it. But that's, there was a time when you had to pick up a pen and paper and write people a letter. And now and then you could email them, and then you could text them. I remember sending my first text message at around 25, a decade ago. So things are different. So sometimes people are giving us their opinion from a really dated space. So I'm not going to hold you up anymore. Let's get to the first point. Most people are not even thinking about you. And I really want to say this, and I really want to stress this. And it is my first point, and it is my most important point, because so many of us are consumed with what we think people think of us. We haven't even verified these opinions. We just assume that they're thinking about us. And I remember I've had some moments growing up. I'm very sort of like, my personality is interesting. I can admit that to you. I'm very outgoing on the surface. So if you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, which I'm assuming you do because I don't know how else you could have found me, I'm very sort of outward. I'm outward at times. And I think that because I'm so outward, it is a huge misconception sometimes when people meet me and they realize that I'm not outward all the time. So like many of you, I'm probably one of those introverted extroverts. I'm not shy. I'm not afraid to speak in large audiences, but sometimes I shrink in smaller, more intimate situations, which is crazy, right? Like, I'm huge. I can be big on a big stage, but if you bring me down into something smaller and more intimate, I kind of shrink a little bit. I'm kind of a little bit more reserved. I observe sometimes. It just depends. It just depends on the environment, what I'm trying to see. And so, I have had, there have been times when someone will tell another person, oh, Myleik didn't like me, or, something like that. And I'm like, oh my God, I wasn't even, not to be shady, but I wasn't even thinking about that person. I was more sort of going inward, thinking about some things maybe that I had going on, or I was just observing. And, people assume that I'm always out, and I'm not always outward. I am inward most of the time. And so people will process me just being an inner person in smaller situations as not liking them. And I'm like, I don't know you. I don't know you. Therefore, I don't like or dislike you. I'm kind of indifferent, and that's okay. I haven't had enough time with you to form an opinion. So why are you taking something so serious? This has nothing to do with you and everything to do with my personality, And so that's the thing that I want to share with you, is that sometimes you probably are doing the same thing and thinking, oh, I read, there was a question on my Ask FM about, I'm a blogger, and there was this other bigger blogger there, and she acted like she didn't know me, even though she follows my blog, so she shaded me. And I was like, just because you think she follows your blog doesn't mean she might have followed your blog 2 years ago and didn't remember. She might have had an intern follow your blog. She might be really shy, and maybe she's not shading you. Maybe she just doesn't care. Maybe she's really shy. She has a right to be all of that. And so I'm like, people are really focused on themselves most of the time and not really thinking about you in the way that you probably think they are. So I shared this several podcasts ago, how I was in Europe and I was going to the gym, and I had on like some kind of like crazy pants, and I walked past these three guys and they started laughing, and I kind of got a little butthurt because I assumed that they were laughing at me. And then I just checked myself, like, in the moment, almost like, who am I to think that I'm so much that people are even giving any energy to me? What if they were, and they didn't even speak English, so who even knows what they were talking about, okay? What if it was a joke? What if they were just talking about anything? And so I had to check myself and say, let me stop thinking that I'm just so this and that people even care about me. They may not have. And let's just say they were laughing at me. What difference does it make? Because since that day in March, I have not seen, heard, or anything. I couldn't even tell you what they look like. So I had to check myself in that moment and always remember to do the same thing, is that, let's not give too much energy to the people who aren't reciprocating the same to us. Even if they were laughing at me, they were dedicating, let's just say they dedicated 13 seconds to me. I've dedicated 0 to them. So you're giving me more energy than I'm giving you. And I'm definitely not about to give you a whole minute, okay? Remember that. Don't ever give anybody more energy than they're giving you. And if they're giving you energy unnecessarily, that's their problem. It is not yours. So check yourself when you think somebody's thinking about you or talking about you or feeling a way about you or shading you. They may not even be thinking about you. They probably are not thinking about you. Number 2, let's just say they are thinking about you. Other people's thoughts and opinions reveal their beliefs and their character, which has nothing to do with you. People's opinions and thoughts typically come from a history of past beliefs, past fears, current fears, and experiences. And so because so-and-so got burned, your mother got burned, your father did this, your father didn't get the job even though he interviewed 10 times. So when he sees you going up for your 7th interview, he's going to discourage you because he doesn't want you to feel the pain that he felt. And so you always have to remember that while I can appreciate you sharing your experience with me, your experience is not mine. And that's kind of what you have to say, because we don't want to disrespect our parents or our elders or other people, and we don't want to diminish their experiences either. But it is very important to say, while I understand and I really do feel sorry for what you had to endure or experience by doing the same things or thing that I have, or by being in the space that I was, I am going to try this anyway. And so, I care, and thank you for sharing, but I'm going to go ahead and do what I planned on doing anyway, and gain my own experience. I need to have my own experience with this, and people owe that to you, to allow you to have your own experience positive or negative, you need to be able to form your own opinion. Number 3, and you know this one oh so well, it is none of your business what someone thinks about you. It is none of your business, okay? So sometimes when I never allow any of my mentees to tell me who doesn't like them, I don't care. I don't care who doesn't like you, and you shouldn't care either, okay? I don't care. I don't care, and neither should you. You know what I mean? You know why? 9.5 times out of 10, 9.99 times out of 10, the person that quote unquote doesn't like you doesn't know you, okay? They don't know you. So I had to have this huge learning experience, okay? People in the beginning, when I got a little bit popular on the internet, because I've been on the internet for forever, and people found me and they started to write me, and they would send me some of the meanest things I've ever had said to me in my life, okay? And I've had some pretty mean things said to me. And it used to really bother me. And now that I have gotten some help, because I did get professional help, some therapy to help me kind of get over that hump, and then I really thought about it. I was just like, these are people that are judging me based on, 140 characters. And if I may send out 8 tweets in a day, you're judging me based on that, 1,000 characters, and maybe a photo or 2 a day. And even sometimes if I may be sharing more than that, you're judging me based on, 6% of my life that I'm sharing with you. And even if we want to be so bold and say 20% of my life, you don't know everything about me. You don't know my full story, and even if I share a lot of things with you, you just don't know, or they don't know. And so I'm like, how can I even, I'm very, is the word empathetic? I have a sense of empathy for people who judge me that don't know me, because I'm like, if you really got to know me, you probably would learn that I have experienced many of the things that you have, and we are probably more alike than we are different. And last week, I think it was, I went, every now and then I check on the comments on Curlbox TV, and the number one video is the one where I share kind of like my work philosophy, how I'm like hardcore with my work. That's who I am. I'm pretty tough. And someone wrote like this long letter about how I should, wrote this thing about how I should do this and do that. And I respected the opinion, because I was like, this is an opinion based on, a 5-minute video. So based on what you see, this is your opinion. And then I went and looked at theirs, and I was like, I saw theirs, and I was like, I dug that she was making an effort to make DIY videos. And so I said, you know what? Thank you for sharing, and I dig your DIY videos. Is that I don't have to match your faux dislike of me with the same thing, because I'm wise enough to know that I don't know you well enough to judge you. And I also can respect the fact that you're sharing an opinion with me based on a few minutes, and you have the right to feel that way. You have the right to feel that I'm, whatever it is. I've been called some of the meanest things in the book, and I accept it, because I get called a lot of nice things too. And so you can't take the good and not take the bad. What did I write? Oh my God, I wrote this crazy sentence. Doesn't matter what you do to someone. Oh, is this what I was trying to say? My dad shared this with me. I wrote the craziest sentence and I didn't write it clear enough. But what I was trying to say is that it doesn't matter what you do, good or bad, there will still be people that don't like you. And my dad shared that with me when I was in high school. I've had moments where, I ran for student body president, and I won. I love being a leader. I love sharing my opinions. And I remember coming home and sharing that with my dad and being like, Dad, I've got all these great ideas and I'm just trying to share and help. And the kids still don't like me. Like it would be so crazy. Like I'm not even trying to be mean to people and they still don't like me. And my dad said this to me. I think I was in like the 4th grade. And I remember him saying, Myleik, you have to know that it doesn't matter what you do. If you do everything perfectly, there's still going to be somebody that doesn't like the fact that you did everything perfectly. Like, who does she think she is, And so I remember saying that. And so I'm like, it doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter how much good I attempt to do with my life. There is going to be someone who doesn't like that. So I accept that. Number 4, which is my favorite. I always do this. Number 1 was really true a favorite. But number 4 is, probably the one that you should tattoo on your heart. You and only you have to live your life, okay? You and only you have to live your life, and you have to remember that when people are judging you or saying things to you, they're judging moments, okay? So maybe you did something stupid. We all have. Me first. Me first. I will raise my hand. We've all done some stupid stuff, but you have to remember that this person is judging a moment. You're judging a moment versus my lifetime. You're judging a moment, okay? And so that's fine if you want to judge a moment because you don't have the capacity or the interest to be dialed into my life. And that's cool. You're dialed into the high points and the low points. That's fine, okay? And always remember that nobody knows what you've been through and nobody knows your whole story. And even if they know your story, let's just say that there are some key, some points in your life that people know. Your parents divorced, your mother or father died, your sibling died, you lost your job, you got fired, boyfriend broke up with you. They don't know the extent of how those things made you feel. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. Every breakup is different. Every death is different. Everybody grieves differently. So you may know the story, but you don't know my feelings, okay? And remember that is that what people, they don't have to experience that. And if they did experience something similar and their thing was different, don't ever compare your issue to someone else's, even if it appears to be the same, okay? People don't know. They don't know how words make people feel or actions make you feel. And you have a right to grieve and you have a right to deal with it at the pace in which you feel comfortable. Quick little break because I'm getting all passionate, taking a sip. The fifth one, which I want you to write down. Write this down somewhere. Put it on a post-it note. Write it on your mirror. Learn to trust you. And if your post-it is, I will trust myself, I don't care what kind of trust issues you have with boyfriends and girlfriends and who broke up with you and who dumped you and somebody let you down, your homegirl let you down, your best girlfriend, your boss who you thought you was cool with let you down. That's cool. Have those trust issues. Work through the trust issues with other people, but you have to learn to trust yourself, okay? You have to learn to do that because I genuinely believe that your gut is the way that God speaks to you. That feeling that you get, when you go out with a guy and you kind of like, that's not it. Or you meet a girlfriend and she's super cool, but then she does something like really kind of crazy and you kind of get that like, I don't think she and I are like compatible homies. That's God trying to tap you on the shoulder, on top of the head. Like, listen, Linda, listen. I'm trying to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? So understand that that's that knock, that's that tap. Like, come on, I need you to listen. I'm trying to talk to you. Please, do you feel it? That uneasiness, that's the communication. Respect it, honor it. And I believe that's God's direct line to you. That's your direct phone number, that's God dialing your extension, your extension and saying, I'm trying to communicate with you, And so don't ignore that feeling, even if it hurts. Like if I get a feeling that you're not right for me, I'm really, really serious about those kinds of things. When I get a feeling from someone and I'm just kind of like, it's not really you. And I've worked with lots of people that may be good at what they do and they may be good people. They may be, I don't know, but when I get that feeling and it doesn't feel good to me, I have to just excuse myself or kind of just end what we're doing because it doesn't feel right and it's not going to be good in the long run. In 5C, which is my very last point, is that people need your permission to share their opinions with you. You remember that if somebody is always sharing with you things that you don't like, you've given them a platform to speak to you in a way that you don't enjoy. You have a right to say to people, I do not enjoy when you speak to me that way. I really want for us to learn how to communicate with each other. And I have done this before, and it kind of shocks or scares people. When I've shared this story before, when someone made a comment to me about my weight or my midsection, and I really just had to stop them in their tracks and say, I'm sorry, but I'm not available for your opinions about my body, okay? What you think of my body, I don't care, however you feel is your opinion, and I'm not available for your opinions on what you think about my body, about my stomach, about my thighs, about my butt, because I'm cool with me. I know that I get up and I go to the gym 3 days a week because I care about me. And if I haven't hit the goals, if I haven't hit your goals, it's because they're not my goals, okay? My goals are my goals, and what you think I should look like is not my business. So fall back. And it was like we had that moment and we never had to have it again. So guess who knows not to share their opinions with me about my body? Exactly. I don't care. Save it. Like my mother says, I don't care what you think. You can take it and shove it up your butt. That's what you can do with your opinion because I don't care. And I don't have to because I have to live my life. I have to get up every single morning and look at my whole entire body and say, I'm okay with me. You don't have to do that. Okay? So that was my very passionate why what someone thinks of you doesn't matter. And hopefully that makes some of those questions dwindle in my inbox on my ask. And you guys be good. Talk to you later.